The galaxy was vast, infinite, and merciless. For Commander Elias Rourke, who had spent 15 years navigating the outer rim aboard the exploration vessel Artemis, it was a truth he had long accepted. But nothing in his years of spacefaring had prepared him for the day he found her. It began with a distress signal, a faint, erratic pulse cutting through the void like a dying heartbeat. Rourke had learned early in his career that survival in space often depended on ignoring the easy calls. Most were traps, accidents, or outdated echoes. But something about this signal gnawed at him. Its frequency was unusual, almost organic, like it was being transmitted by a living mind rather than a machine. "Commander, are you sure about this?" Lieutenant Mara Vey asked, her voice tight over the comm channel. Her sharp eyes were fixed on the sensor readouts. It could be a pirate lure. Or worse. Rourke's jaw tightened. "I'm sure. Set a course. Maximum impulse. I want to see who or what is out there." The Artemis jumped into hyperspace, the stars stretching into long, silver lines before collapsing back into the familiar shimmer of light. 3 hours later, they arrived in the quadrant designated by the signal, a barren system dominated by a gas giant, its orbiting moons dark and lifeless. Among them floated a derelict spacecraft, battered and scarred from what looked like decades of abandonment. Rourke's heart skipped. "That's it. Bring us in slowly." Sensors scanned for life forms. The readings were faint, very faint, but undeniable.
1.
A life sign aboard the wreck. Not human. Not anything cataloged in the Federation database. "Alien." Mara breathed. "Commander, she's alive." Minutes later, the boarding shuttle descended to the hulking vessel. Its hull was scratched and torn, and as they entered, the smell of burnt ozone and decayed organic material assaulted them. In the ship's core, they found her. She was unlike anything Rourke had seen before. Standing just over 6 feet tall, her body shimmered with a soft, translucent light. Her skin reflected the colors of the surrounding environment like liquid glass, and her eyes, huge and liquid, pulsed with fear. When she looked at them, Rourke felt as if she could see straight into his soul. She was conscious but weak, trembling as she tried to rise. Rourke knelt beside her. "It's okay. You're safe now." Her voice was musical, a vibration that seemed to resonate inside his chest. "Why help me?" "Because no one deserves to die alone," he said simply. He signaled to Mara to secure the ship for transport. Back aboard the Artemis, they tended to her injuries. She could not speak their language, but Rourke had a translator device capable of learning new dialects in real time. Slowly, she communicated. Her name was Lyra, from a planet called Azure Prime, a world so far from Federation space that few had ever heard of it. Lyra's people had been fleeing a devastating war. Her ship was an escape vessel, meant to carry her family to safety, but she was the only survivor after an attack by the Scythe Fleet, a notorious band of marauders who preyed on distant colonies. Her eyes held a mixture of grief and defiance, and Rourke felt a strange pull, a need to protect her that he couldn't explain. Weeks passed as the Artemis made its way to a Federation safe zone. In that time, Rourke and Lyra grew accustomed to each other. The translator revealed fragments of her culture, a civilization deeply connected to energy manipulation, capable of bending light and sound to their will. Lyra, despite her frailty, demonstrated small abilities, a faint luminescence of her skin when anxious, a subtle shift of objects with a glance. "Commander," Mara said one evening, breaking Rourke's contemplative silence. "We should be cautious. The Scythe Fleet might still be tracking her. If they know she survived." Rourke didn't answer immediately. He had already begun noticing anomalies around the ship. Systems fluctuating when Lyra was nearby, lights dimming or brightening without cause, sensors reading strange energy signatures. He dismissed it at first as a combination of stress and coincidence, but the truth was far stranger than anything he could imagine. The attack came suddenly in the void between two uncharted systems. Mara's alert rang out as multiple ships decloaked around them, their black hulls jagged and menacing. The Scythe fleet. Rourke gave the order to engage, but even the best-trained Federation pilots were caught off guard by the enemy's ferocity. Amid the chaos, Lyra moved. She didn't take a weapon. She didn't need one. Her body glowed with an intensity that pulsed like a heartbeat, and the ships around the Artemis began to shudder violently. Energy fields erupted, disabling weapons, tearing through engines, and sending marauder ships spinning helplessly into space. The crew watched in awe as she exerted a force no human could hope to match. When the last of the attackers fled, Rourke approached her, stunned. "Lyra, what just happened?" She looked at him, exhausted, tears mingling with the faint glow of her skin. I did what I must. My people, we carry the veil. It protects life, even when it must fight." Rourke, still processing the enormity of what he had witnessed, realized the implications. The veil was a legend, an energy field said to exist only in myths, a force capable of bending reality, cloaking worlds, and shifting entire systems. If Lyra possessed it, the galaxy itself had changed without anyone realizing. They made it to the Federation station in orbit around Ryloth 7, where Lyra was placed under observation. Scientists were fascinated, military officials terrified. Questions flew in every direction. What was the extent of her power? Could it be replicated? Could it be weaponized? Rourke stayed close, the bond between rescuer and rescued deepening into something that neither could fully define. But as the days turned to weeks, a new, more unsettling truth emerged. Lyra was not just a survivor. She was a key, one of several emissaries sent by her people to prepare the galaxy for an event long predicted in Azuran prophecy. A dark energy, known as the Shard, was awakening in the far reaches of space, capable of consuming stars and planets alike. Only those who carried the veil could hope to counter it. Rourke felt the weight of this revelation pressing down on him. Their encounter, which had seemed like a random act of rescue, was anything but random. By saving Lyra, he had become part of a chain reaction that could decide the fate of billions. Months of preparation followed. Lyra trained under Rourke's protection, the Federation learning from her, and slowly, hesitantly, the galaxy began to grasp the scale of the threat. But then the Shard made its move. It appeared on the edge of the known systems, a massive rift of darkness, pulsating with destructive energy. Planets in its path disintegrated before observation, entire. Colonies erased in hours. The Federation fleet, no matter how advanced, was powerless against it. Rourke, Lyra, and a select team were dispatched aboard the Artemis, retrofitted with experimental technology designed to amplify her abilities. As they approached the Shard, the full scope of her power became clear. Lyra extended her hands, and the veil responded, weaving around the ship, creating a protective barrier that shimmered like liquid crystal. She turned to Rourke. "I cannot do this alone." He nodded. "Then we do it together." In the void beyond known space, they confronted the Shard. Lyra's light clashed with its darkness in a storm of energy so immense it tore at the fabric of space itself. Rourke piloted the Artemis with precision, keeping her within the veil's protective sphere. They maneuvered, dodged, and endured, their synergy growing stronger with every pulse of energy. Then, in a moment of clarity, Lyra whispered, "Trust me." She reached out, and with Rourke beside her, the veil enveloped the Shard. Energy coalesced into a sphere of pure light, compressing the darkness into a manageable form. The galaxy held its breath, and for the first time in centuries, the void was still. When the light faded, the shard was gone, contained, neutralized, its destructive potential forever sealed by the veil. Rourke and Lyra, exhausted and battered, drifted in silence. For the first time, the enormity of their victory and the bond that had formed between them settled in. Back at Ryloth 7, the Federation celebrated their triumph. Lyra became a symbol, a living testament to the unity and courage that could arise from the most unexpected of encounters. Rourke, though lauded for his role, remained humble. He had done what any person would do. He had saved a life. But he knew, in the quiet moments between missions, that saving Lyra had been more than an act of heroism. It had been the beginning of something that could change the galaxy forever, a partnership that held the balance of light against the darkness. One evening, Rourke stood on the observation deck, watching the stars stretch endlessly before him. Lyra joined him, her presence calm and luminous. "Do you ever think about what would have happened if you hadn't answered that signal?" she asked. Rourke smiled faintly, his eyes tracing the glittering expanse. "I don't think about it, because then I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. And the galaxy might not have survived." Lyra's glow softened, almost imperceptibly, as she reached out, letting her hand rest against his. "Then we'll make sure it always survives. Together." And for the first time, Rourke felt a peace that had eluded him for years. Among the stars, with the galaxy stretching endlessly ahead, he realized the truth. Sometimes, the smallest act of courage, rescuing one life, could echo across the cosmos, reshaping destinies and revealing wonders beyond imagining. The galaxy had been shaken, challenged, and forever changed. But in that moment, among the light of distant suns and the warmth of a companion who had once been a stranger, Commander Elias Rourke understood something profound. Hope, once kindled, could illuminate even the darkest reaches of space. And so, they prepared for the future, uncertain, vast, and full of untold possibilities. The Artemis would continue its voyages, Lyra by his side, and together they would face whatever the galaxy dared to throw at them. Because some bonds were stronger than fear, stronger than war, and stronger than even the dark that threatened the stars. Some bonds, like the one forged between a human and an alien woman, could change the fate of the galaxy itself.